We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's April 9th, 2026.
Not July yet?
Did I say July? April.
Almost.
All right. Well, anyway, it is April 9th. Introductions. On my far left is Lisa Schmidt. She's our county clerk. And we have Rich Eckert, our county counselor, on my far right. And to my left is Kevin, Eric, Aaron Mays, who represents District 3, and Kevin.
Good to meet you.
And glad to meet you, right, sure. And Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. I'm Bill Rippon. I think I represent District 1. So, anyway, Lisa, what's first on the agenda?
First item on the agenda is item 3, consent agenda.
If there's no questions or comments, I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Next item is item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $3,254,387.96. Significant payments out of that voucher report, there was $201,904.36 to XYEIX Systems Incorporated for progress payment on the 911 Center console refresh, paid with county project funds. We have allocations to social service agencies of $527,906.75. Holding accounts with the state of Kansas, $987,993.92. And health insurance for our employees of $682,057.56. I don't have any questions regarding the reports. Would move for their approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
2, consider correction orders.
I would move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
B, Land Use and Development Department. 1, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number R2026039 to amend the district zoning classification from RR1 to I1 on property located at 4848 Southeast Adams Street in the Topeka Township.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joni Thadani, Director of Land Use and Development. As mentioned, we are here for a rezoning case today. It's a public hearing. This is a situation where the applicants are requesting to modify their parcel from RR1 to I1. And I will explain that significant change here in just a second. It is located south of 45th and Adams in Topeka Township. Blue dot here, blue star, seen on the map is the actual location. The site plan on this one is this parcel here, and as you can see, there are 3 existing buildings. There are images where 3 additional buildings could be built in the future, although it hasn't been determined yet whether or not that's what they're actually going to do, but if so, what they would be using it for is vehicle storage or like boat and RV storage. So it'd be open buildings with the tops where larger vehicles could move in. So the history of this is that this parcel, these buildings were actually permitted as ag buildings. However, my understanding is the prior owner never actually used them as ag buildings. They've been used historically in this exact same manner. They do some mechanical work there. They do some business storage, vehicle storage. They do random stuff throughout the parcel. All of those fall within an I-1 zoning district, and so it had been used in this manner really since the inception of this parcel. We just didn't know about it. When the new owners bought it, it came to our attention and we reached out to them and they applied for an application to rezone. These are just the floor plans of the buildings showing that they are big open buildings that are being utilized as mentioned. This is the vicinity map. As you can see in purple, that's city limits. And so this is not far from the city limits and does fall within their urban growth area. We sent 13 letters to property owners surrounding. We did receive 3 letters back in opposition. 2 of those people were able to attend the public hearing at the Planning Commission meeting and were able to address the Planning Commission. That occurred on Monday, March 9. Planning staff does recommend approval of the request, and the Planning Commissioners considered it and recommended approval by a vote of 3 to 2. So really what I would say is that the opposition stems from a couple of the neighbors that live or own land surrounding. There's ag land and a couple of houses. They're a bit distant away, but I think there's always concern about the use. And some of that has been the historical use of the property and just wanting to make sure that those issues are contained. One of those things is that when we can get this rezoned to I-1, we can actually put fencing around the property and it would help contain any of the activities onto this property itself. But also one of the issues that came up was the lack of water in this area. This is in one of Shawnee County's water voids, meaning it's not attached to city water and it's not attached to a rural water district. And so in those situations, they have wells. And so the question was, does this kind of use, is it okay to have this kind of use on a property with a well? And that was discussed extensively at the meeting. So in regards to our review of this, no single golden factor is controlling, but all were considered. The character of the neighborhood, what you'll see with the map is that across the street, across Adams, is all zoned I-1 already. So this is not unusual. We're not spot zoning. We're not bringing I-1 into the middle of a residential neighborhood. Everything to the west is already zoned I-1 and is being used in that type of situation. Everything to the right or on the same side as this parcel is RR, except on the south of them, there are a couple of parcels that went through this same rezoning process 10, 15 years ago that are now PUD/commercial. And they are residential properties, but they're also running businesses from those properties. And so they went through a rezoning process to do the same exact kind of work on their property. They just happen to live there. And so this isn't an unusual use for this parcel in this area of Shawnee County. I already talked about zoning of nearby properties. This historically has been used in this same manner. We're just trying to bring it into compliance. When they bought the property, they had seen that it had been used in this manner and probably didn't realize that it needed to be rezoned to a different way. And so we're just trying to formalize what needs to be done to make sure that we can regulate the uses that are occurring. Recommendation of the staff, we do find that this would formalize the existing use and allows for us to regulate the activities. And with the I-1 zoning just to the west, we feel like this meets with proper zoning patterns and is not spot zoning. We do find that it is in conformance with the comprehensive plan, which supports appropriate land use transitions and encourages proper use of properties. We do have a host of recommendations. Most of these actually fall from the conversion of the buildings because they'll have to come in and convert those buildings from ag buildings to commercial. So most of these conditions actually have to do more with that conversion. The fire district had given a bunch of items that they felt would be important, and so that's what you see in items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for the most part, most of these conditions have to do with fire safety. A drainage report was requested by Public Works, so they will have to submit that if they do further development. Because there's no future development right now, they don't have to submit that until they apply for a building permit for anything further. They do need to dedicate some additional road right-of-way along Adams. And it is on a septic system, and we have had environmental health go out there and do a review. They have to verify and make sure that they continue to comply with environmental code on this property. And then last, they'll have to comply with all I-1 light industrial district regulations, which will include fencing requirements because they do skirt RR properties. I don't have anything further unless you have any questions for staff.
I do have a question. You were showing, can you go back to that aerial view?
Uh-huh.
Go back another one where, right there.
Uh-huh.
What is that other little building that's right below number 3?
That looks like an RV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you said they're on a lateral system and they have their own well?
It's a cistern, and they are on a lateral system, correct.
Do they have restrooms in this building?
There's just one bathroom, and this isn't a property that's going to be open where there's going to be public coming and hanging out there or sitting in there. Really, anybody who comes will be the people who actually work there. I don't believe at this time that they had any intent of expanding that bathroom from a single bathroom.
And then it says future secure vehicle storage. Is that?
That would be the storage for like RVs, boats,
RVs,
vehicles.
that's the plan.
Right, correct.
Okay.
That's the plan. They haven't submitted any sort of building permits at this time, and I would leave it to the applicant to express whether that's like an immediate plan or 5 years down the road plan, or how they may plan to do that.
And I noticed they have to give up a little bit more right-of-way for the road.
Correct.
What about the entrance, the throat to the driveway? Is it, I mean, they're bringing RVs and et cetera in there, is it
My
adequate?
understanding was that it was fine, other than maybe, was there a recommendation from the fire department? Do you recall? Let's look at the.
I didn't see it, but. All right.
So the entrances, we refer back to the entity that maintains the roads. If they come in for a new building permit, they do have to have the entrance reviewed. That's part of our building permit process. And so at that time, we would refer it over to the maintainer of the road. Kurt, is Adams? It's, okay, so it's a township, so we would send it off to the township too.
I see, okay. All right,
Sure, Paul.
Commissioner Cook?
Shawnee, in reviewing the application, a couple of things caught my eye. If you can go to the aerial map of the city, county, just to show, again, this falls outside of the city of Topeka.
Correct. The white, on this aerial view, the white property is the property in question, and then purple is city of Topeka.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, we had issues with neighbors and a social club in South Topeka and noise. We don't have a noise regulation in Shawnee County.
Correct.
In the application, it talked about working on vehicles and mowers, and that previously there had been a race car fabrication. Your thoughts on maybe having a noise, if this is going to be operated as a business, having a noise restriction with hours so that they're not running mowers or race cars or what may have you at 2 or 3 in the morning?
We could absolutely add a condition in regards, and we could do it 2 different ways. I mean, eventually we could add noise restrictions to specific zones. However, in most I-1 zones, you wouldn't have that kind of noise restriction, and so we don't want it necessarily to apply across the board. So in this case, we could add a condition that would limit business hours and noise.
That's just one thing that caught my eye, is you do have several residential areas there, and if people are going to be working on their cars or running engines, we just don't want it to disturb the peace of the existing neighborhood.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I have another situation in my district where a gentleman works on race cars in his driveway. and the neighbors are not real happy about it. So I could see how that would be something we want to take into consideration.
All right. All right. Time to go into hearing.
I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
All right. I'll second that. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. We are now in a public hearing. I'd like to have anyone who wants to speak in opposition to this zoning case. You can. This is your moment. No one? Anybody who'd like to speak in favor of this zoning change?
Morning, Commissioners. Lance Royer. I'm the applicant. This is Sam Sutton, also partial owner of Flight Crew. Just to be clear, we don't do race cars. This is just really a man cave. The folks before us did race cars, as well as the conditional use permits that she talked about. I think they do race cars. They build race car engines and that kind of thing. So we don't do race cars. This started out as a big man cave. We decided to rent the other two buildings to be able to recoup some of our money. And lo and behold, we're zoned agriculture. Who knew? I should have looked when we bought it, but I didn't. So we're just trying to get in compliance. We don't do race cars. We aim to be good neighbors to the folks to the south of us. Like she said, everybody to the west of us is all commercial already, light industrial. So I'm happy to stand for questions. Do you have any more you want to add?
Just that 4950 and 5040 both do race cars, so we won't be hopefully bothering them.
Well, I think it's just, I appreciate that, Mr. Royer, that you're not running race cars and you're going to be mindful of the neighbors. But I'm actually not probably looking at you, I'm looking at the person that comes after you.
Yeah.
And so if we have established regulations, then there's no issues when it comes up down the road.
Yeah. And the business hours thing makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so.
So you're suggesting we have business hours and when this can operate? Yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would ask that the commission be careful about business hours because most of the time we're there in the evening. If you want to set, whatever, late in the evening, that'd be great. But, most of us work during the day. So the
Right.
time we're out there is in the evening
Yeah.
or on weekends, so.
Okay, all right.
So, quick question. So is not going to be open to the public necessarily, right? Like,
Correct. Later on, to address the three buildings, that's a maybe 2 to 5 year plan that we're thinking about that, maybe a year to 5, somewhere in there. Not tomorrow by any means, and we will apply with, codes and all of that. So it's really a man cave. There's no public. Once we build those, storage units, there'll be people coming and dropping off and picking up their stuff, but it's really not a business that you go to. No, sir.
right.
Okay, all right.
I don't have any other questions.
No.
Any other questions? All right, well, Lance, Sam, thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, so do we want to add the hours or put some kind of restriction in going?
So if I might, because there are a couple of already established businesses to the south, one of the things that we could do is go pull those cases and see if they have business hours or a time frame for which they are allowed to operate. Because what I would hate to do is have 3 very similarly situated parcels and one be something a lot more restricted than the other. If we could maybe make a motion to defer action for 1 week so that we could do a little bit of research and come up with a good set of hours and noise restrictions so that we're not doing it on the fly, I think that would be suitable for the Land Use and Development Department.
That sounds good, so do we have to vote on?
Motion to defer action for 1 week.
All right, well, second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor?
Just as a point of order, I mean, we're leaving the hearing open. Is that
Correct. Let's leave the
Okay.
hearing open, yes.
Just leave it open. Okay, so we're not closing it, we're just So how do we end this then today?
What, you have a motion and
on
second.
the floor to defer action for 1 week.
Okay.
And you
I'll
seconded it?
So, all in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. So we'll defer for 1 week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Lisa, next item?
C, Public Works. 1, consider approval of contract C 2026136A1, supplemental agreement number 1 to KDOT Shawnee County Agreement 1925, clarifying that KDOT Project 89C535901 includes 2 bridge replacements on Northwest Valencia Road, one participating and the other non-participating. The supplemental contains no other changes to the original contract.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. I really couldn't say it any better myself. This supplement merely indicates that there's 2 bridges on the project, 2 Shawnee County bridges. It's a KDOT project. They led it. By the way, work starts April 20th, so Valencia Road will be closed on April 20th. One is participating and one is not. So I look forward to any questions you might have.
Questions? I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next.
2, consider approval of KDOT Shawnee County Agreement 61-26 for construction engineering services on KDOT Project 89C535901, a project to replace 2 bridges on Northwest Valencia Road over the Silver Lake drainage ditch and its tributary.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works, same project. In this case, because we have a non-participating bridge and a participating bridge, KDOT, there would be 1 CE contract. KDOT wanted to define how those costs will be split between the participating and non-participating bridge. It really ends up costing Shawnee County $23,000 because early in the process, we start these bridge projects, as you know, well in advance of a anticipated letting. And when we started this project, we didn't know we would get state funding, federal funding, off-system bridge project funds for one of the bridges. And so we had entered into a contract for CE services on, and we can't have 2 contracts. We can't pay the consultant twice. So really that contract goes away. This contract through the state takes over, and we end up paying $88,000 on the non-participating bridge, which is a $23,000 increase. And what you can chalk that up to is, even though the non-participating bridge, the fact that it's included in a federal aid project, it still is subject to all the federal recording and inspection requirements. So that's a premium we have to pay to include a non-participating bridge on this project. It may sound difficult, or it may be difficult to understand. I was hoping it would be a little cleaner than this, but really the non-participating bridge, even though it's non-participating, it's included in a federal aid project. It's subject to all the same reporting and inspection requirements. So we got to pay a $23,000 surcharge to cover those costs. That's really what it comes down to. We're still getting a heck of a deal through the state, so it's worthy to continue forward.
Kurt, who will let this project?
KDOT will.
KDOT will do
Yep,
that?
yep.
Okay,
Yep. They did let it, in fact.
Okay.
And we got a great price for 2 bridges. The work will go concurrently on both bridges. It's a great deal. So even though we're paying the extra $23,000, we're getting a really nice deal out of this
do they
project.
oversee and manage things? on
Oh,
this
yeah,
project?
yeah.
They do that?
That they'll take care of everything,
Okay.
the inspection. Now, there may be times where they want to get the county involved in certain issues, but generally speaking, the state will handle all the inspection and
That's
construction
quite a
issues.
bit then.
Yeah.
That's- All right. Any other questions?
No.
I would move for approval then.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next,
3, considered exemption for idled transportation specialist position.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. Couple years ago, we had a number of positions that were idle because through a choice of my own, we didn't fill those positions. If you recall, we had a number of vacancies out in the field on road maintenance positions. And these specialty positions are typically filled by those road maintenance positions. We've got to the point where we have a lot less vacancies in road maintenance. We have a new paint truck coming that really ups our ability to paint roads. It paints both sides at the same time. So we need 2 operators, and then we need a chase vehicle for public safety, keep people out of the paint. So I'm asking to unidle or make active this transportation specialist position. I know this is for 2027. I will get with Audit Finance to see what our situation is financially for 2026. And I would like to be able to fill this position before the new paint truck arrives in July. So with that, I look forward to any questions that you have.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
4, acknowledge contract 2026-143A1 covering change orders number 1 and 2 to original contract C369-2022 with MCON Incorporated of Barrington, Kansas. These change orders reflect as bid versus as constructed quantities, deleted and added work, and a COT reimbursement for a 6-pump station project within Lake Sherwood sewage treatment system.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. This is a project that's been ongoing for a number of years. It involved the replacement or rehabilitation of 6 pump stations out at Lake Sherwood. When this project started, we were just coming out of COVID, and materials were very difficult to get, materials that were critical to this project. So it started out very slow because we were waiting for materials. And then just by the nature of the work, things were discovered. We had to address them. But the good news is the project is complete now. I'm here before you with the final project cost. We ended up spending approximately $100,000 more than what we originally anticipated. Considering the complexity of the project and the things we've discovered once we got into the project, I'm still pleased with the way the project turned out. One thing I want to caution you about, this $4,611,000 and some change, that's not the absolute final project cost because we have not been fully billed yet for construction engineering, and I've got around $290,500 for that. I don't anticipate any major differences. And then we have communicated with the city and have asked them to reimburse us for approximately $76,000. This was for some things that were originally removed from the project and then added later when things didn't kind of work out operationally like we had hoped. And then furthermore, there were some towers delivered to the project. They were communication towers. And the city was unable to get those towers to work, so the city is buying those towers from us. So anyway, the project's complete. Project costs about $100,000 higher on a $4.5 million project. And with that, I look forward to your questions.
Questions?
Sure, but with everything said and done, you're anticipating it being about $300,000 higher than the original project budget?
$100,000.
$100,000.
$100,000, yeah, out of a $4.5 million project.
And these communication towers the city bought and then aren't able to use, are they locating them somewhere else?
Yeah, they're going to take them and they'll probably use them somewhere else. I don't think they're going to use them in the Sherwood system. They'll use them elsewhere in their city system. So they're buying those at full value. And then we added some backup systems to the pump stations, things that should have been added early on, but the city personnel asked us to remove those, so we were adding them later. The city will pay 75% of those costs, but the end result is we're asking the city to pay us approximately $76,000. Now, caveat, the city hasn't come back and said, yep, that number's okay, but we see no reason why they wouldn't. So, yeah.
We've done a lot of improvements out there at Lake Shore over the last number of years here. Where are we now with the total project?
Good question. If you recall, we took out a $7 million loan from KDHE, a low-interest loan. We've replaced the teacup out at the treatment plant. We conducted a collection system project out within the system, a very critical component because it led directly to the treatment plant. And if that system or that portion of the collection system had failed, you would have sewage that couldn't get to the treatment plant, and that would be a bad thing. So we've addressed that. That project's complete. And now with these 6 pump stations being complete, we can focus on plant improvements. So what we know is I'm going to have approximately $1.3 million remaining of that $7 million KDHE loan. And then I also have approximately $4.5 million available in the user fee fund. And I would like to use a good part of that. So we'll end up spending approximately $5 million to improve the treatment plant out there and to bring it under the latest KDHE requirements.
So that'll be the next phase?
We're working on that now. We have a firm that's working on that, and here in June, there should be a final report on what they find and what they recommend.
So I've got a few questions, since we're on this topic, though.
Yeah, sure.
We've digressed a little bit from the agenda item, but I'll continue down that path. In those improvements that you're planning on making, are we planning on increasing any kind of capacity at that wastewater treatment facility? Because I know that we've added the middle school onto the facility, onto the network, and I would anticipate that there's going to be additional development out there at some point. Is the plant able to handle that additional capacity?
The plant was designed for a waste flow of 2.4 million gallons per day, and we're only using about 1 million right now. So there's plenty of excess capacity. There's no need to expand the plant at this time.
Okay. Now back to the original agenda item project. You know, this project's been kind of a mess from the start. I mean.
Well, I don't know if personally, I would call it a mess.
It's been complicated.
It has been very complicated.
The technology is something that we've not worked with before, from my understanding at least. It was supposed to be built with American-made steel. All the parts were, and that complicated things in the supply chain because of COVID. And it's my understanding that was a caveat in bringing in some grant money, the American-made steel portion of it.
That was part of the KDHE loan requirements, you bet.
Okay, so how much was the loan for exactly?
$7 million.
Okay.
And again, after this is approved and we make a final payment to the contractor, we will have approximately $1.3 million left of that KDHE loan.
Okay. And then the towers, my understanding, a few of them were actually constructed. Did they remove the footings as well?
No, the ones that were constructed and we were able to, the city was able to get those operational, the communications, that will remain in place. There was one tower where the footing was constructed, but no tower was built on top of the footing. And then there were 3 towers that even the footing was not constructed. So that's what we're being reimbursed for.
Is that footing in somebody's yard?
I I'm not certain on that. I believe it is, but it's at ground level. I don't believe it's too obtrusive.
Okay, it might be worth looking into,
Yeah.
just to make sure. If we need to remove that out of somebody's yard, then we probably ought to do that. And then the ones that did not get those communication towers, are they just using cellular now to communicate?
Yeah, they're using a different form of communication. Evidently, these communications line of sight, and even with the towers, some of these towers were 60 feet high. Because of the leaves on the trees at certain times of the year, the city just could not get the communication to work. And obviously, these towers, you got these in people's yards, they're obtrusive.
Right.
So the choice was, the city made the decision not to use the towers, but they understood that it was a cost that we incurred at their request, so that's why they're agreeing to pay for those.
Right, right. Okay. I will say, when I first got on the commission, I can remember at least 2 or 3 sewer backups at Lake Sherwood that happened, just one after another, and haven't had that happen since this has been done, so it's hopefully working.
And I might remind everyone, just because we've spent $6 or $7 million out there, the work doesn't stop. Once we get the plant upgraded and KDHE's happy with the effluent that comes out of the plant, we will continue to focus on the collection system and make sure that it is in good shape throughout the treatment system.
Okay.
Kurt, is this, oh, I'm sorry.
Nothing for me.
Kurt, is this plant, is this the first upgrade of the plant since it was built, or are there other?
Gosh, I believe so. Some of this
Yeah.
equipment dates from the original plant's construction,
thought.
and it has really outlived its normal usefulness. So, yes, it's time for some of the things that
Okay.
we're doing.
All right. With that, I'll move that we approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
Thank
Kurt.
you. You bet.
Next item.
D, Treasurer's Office. 1, consider approval of resolution number R 2026036, setting a refund policy for the overpayment of taxes and fees paid to the county treasurer.
Good morning, Commissioners. Susan Duffy, Shawnee County Treasurer. I have before you 3 cleanup items, as I call them. The first has to do with the ability of the Board of County Commissioners to, and the treasurer, to set a policy regarding the overpayment of amounts collected by the Shawnee County Treasurer. In the past, it's been a verbal policy. I believe it should be a resolution in writing. On the motor vehicle side, it's set by law that anything under $5 is not returned to the taxpayer. However, on the Treasury side, we will set the limit at $3. You know, you can get a Big Mac for $5 and a sausage egg biscuit and a coffee, a small coffee. But $3, at that point, we have exceeded our cost of handling and processing a refund. It's very rare that we have these instances occur, but we do need something that we are following in writing. Any questions?
Nope. I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
2, consider approval of resolution number R 2026037 to set a dormant policy on uncollected delinquent taxes after 20 years pursuant to KSA 79-2101.
Thank you. Susan Duffy, Shawnee County Treasurer. Again, our second cleanup item. KSA 79-2101 allows the Board of County Commissioners to determine and allow certain tax lien judgments to become dormant if it remains uncollected after 20 years. And further, that the treasurer has, I have in possession judgments from 1997 to 2004 that meet or exceed the dormancy requirements of 20 years. And we do not expect these to be collected. So at this point, I'm asking and requesting that we allow these to become dormant, these lien judgments. Any questions?
How much money are we talking about that is dormant right now?
You know what? This is all on paper. I'm not sure of the total. It's not a huge, they're paper files, and it's not a huge amount of files, but I do not have a total dollar.
And the reason it's not been collected in 20 years is that people are unknown or whereabouts unknown or?
Basically, that is correct, and we have gone through with our collection process over the years, and we have not, it's not been resolved. These have not been resolved.
What happens to this property then?
These are taxes on the property, so
Does the-
it could have changed hands, we don't know. I mean,
But
yeah, about 6% of our property taxes at any given time remain uncollected. So I imagine it falls into this category. This is a routine, you guys did this back in, I believe, 2012 or 2014 was the last time a resolution was presented.
So, just to clarify, this applies to everything that's over 20 years. Currently, does it apply prospectively as well? So future things, when they hit 20 years, they go into this?
We will
or
come back with another resolution. So we'll
would it be
collecting
advisable
again.
to just do that prospectively so
Well,
you wouldn't have to come back?
We
and
thought
ask?
about that, but at this time, I think where I am in the process, this is where I would like to be.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3, consider the request to retain vacant positions within the motor vehicle division for future use.
Good morning, Commissioners. Susan Duffy, Shawnee County Treasurer. You all passed Resolution 2024-19, which established idle vacant position request to come to you by April 30th of this year if we have vacancies that are open for more than 1 year. I have 3 positions, and basically those positions have been vacant because our motor vehicle funds have been stagnant. As you're aware, we do not use property tax money to fund the motor vehicle side. It is based on fees paid at the time that individuals come in. And as people have left, the positions have not been filled. However, this has resulted in some days 2-3 hour waits for people to get the work done. And if funding does become available with the passage of Senate Bill 325, and if the governor signs that, additional funding may become available, which may assist us in being able to fill a position to lessen the length of time that we ask our county citizens to wait.
Go ahead.
On the account clerk 3, it's been open for 5 years, 5.5 years. Is that something where maybe it might be good to let that expire and then when funding becomes available, create a new position in a different capacity that's appropriate for what you need at the time?
You're correct, that could work. Having been in this position for a little over a year, I'd really like to take the opportunity to see on the management side, that accountant three really represents the knowledge they've acquired, the skill they have, the ability to assist the account clerk ones in their daily job. And out at the annex, we really have one person who is doing that. And if at all possible, it would be nice to have two people. When people walk in with a bundle of papers, and the way the state has, with the title work and things we have to do, and what we require of them, it gets complex and confusing. And we really need somebody at that higher level to ferret out, what can we do to get this done and satisfy the Department of Revenue, as we are their agent in the county to do this work, and make sure that they leave with the proper documents. I understand what you're saying. I don't know why it was held vacant for so long, but we could always reclassify it downward if we need to, and I would work with audit finance to do that. But at this time, knowing that we have a deadline of April 30th with you all to get these approved, I'd just like to take the three and just hold them there. I mean, it could be we give them up at some point in time.
Questions? All right. Is there a motion?
I mean, yeah, I guess I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll second, but if the state does not come through with their funding, we should revisit this issue, especially considering we've been holding one position open for more than 5 years.
Absolutely. I would agree. That just, I was kind of shocked to see that myself.
The state, they gave us some funding for handling tax. When was the last time they?
2012
2012.
was the last time, and that was a facility fee, and 1984 was when the fees were enacted, the majority of the fees. But 2012, we were allowed to start charging the facility fee. And other than that, the state gets the bulk of the money. It goes to the Department of Revenue, to the Highway Patrol, and to KDOT to fund roads.
And this House bill, does this increase this funding, or is this a different type of funding?
It allows us to convert that facility fee. They've renamed it, and we would be allowed to charge an additional amount, not just on walk-ins, but also on mail-ins as well. So it could, for a number of counties who rely on mill levy money, it will be definitely a game changer for them. But for us, it may just allow us to fill that additional position. One position, I mean, if it's somebody's just renewing, it goes quick. But if you get something complicated, you can tie up a person. The other day, with vacations and sick leave, we only had 2 people at the front, and that was not good. So we had to move a manager in there to make sure we were processing people but it fills up quick. A lot of people like to come in and see us and pay. The annex is usually busier than the courthouse. And again, providing that good quality service to our citizens to get in and out the door.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
We have a motion, Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Next,
E, Election Office. 1, consider approval of resolution number R 2026038, establishing compensation for Shawnee County election workers.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner. Our request for this attached resolution is just basically for a modest increase in what we pay our election workers. It's going to amount to about $10 per election worker for each election. And so happy to answer any questions if you have on that. We do have the funds for this in our current budget, so if you have questions, I'll be happy to stand for questions.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item.
F, Health Department. 1, consider approval to reclassify a Shawnee County Health Department registered dietitian to a WIC nutritionist.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. Before you is a request to reclassify one of our vacant registered dietitian positions to a WIC nutritionist. There were several factors that went into considering this reclassification. One is we do currently have a vacancy, and registered dietitians are becoming harder to find here in our state. Second of all, this was a cost savings, and with the WIC budget, we thought this would be a good move to look at something that would potentially be some cost savings. And lastly, it still meets all of the requirements to complete the certifications at a WIC appointment. So with that, my team and I worked extensively with both Human Resources and Teamsters to create this position, and Teamsters was in favor of reclassifying this position. With that, I'm happy to answer questions you might have about it.
Questions?
Nope, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Teresa. Next item.
G, Department of Corrections. 1, consider approval to accept a bid from Samco, Contract C 2026138, for the repair and activation of the fire line for the department's work crew building at a cost of $95,540 to be paid from the fiscal year 2026 contingency fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. The Board of Commissioners approved the Department of Corrections to go out for an RFP to allow us to connect the fire line to the city water, to come into the facility to ensure that we have life-saving measures when it comes to the fire suppression system at the inmate lawn crew building. That we did have one bid that came in with Samco, that this is a company that we work with routinely, that it does outstanding work. It is higher than what we expected at the very beginning, but we found out that the cost of materials has gone up since the RFP, or since when we got the original estimate. And also, when it comes to us tearing up the road, the city's going to require us to repair that road back the same way that it was. To me, I thought it was just filling up a hole, but no, there's different layers of everything that goes to constructing the road back to where it is properly maintained. I did speak with Jennifer regarding this because this is something that we have to get done. It was unexpected that it was disconnected, and we going along with the renovation of this area. And so I would stand for any questions you have, that it was contingency fund.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Brian. Next.
H, Parks and Recreation. 1, consider approval of Contract C 2026135 with Professional Engineering Consultants, PA, to perform a structural assessment of the original Gage Park greenhouse to determine the building's structural capacity at a cost of $3,000, utilizing Gage Park sales tax funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Lorette, Director of Parks and Recreation. The old greenhouse, which is situated there right behind the current greenhouse, is in pretty bad shape. It hasn't been used for anything in several years, not since I've been here for sure, so that's at least 7 years. Just looking at it, we know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. The roof the roof absolutely needs to be replaced. I think the reason we're doing this, however, is that there is a full-length basement underneath that structure, and it has significant water issues, black mold issues. We're concerned about the structural integrity of the basement, and we want to have somebody come in there and give us their professional opinion on what condition it's in before we try to rehab that structure and do something different with it. Be happy to answer any questions.
questions.
No, I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next,
2, consider approval of contract C 2026140 with We Build Fund Incorporated, utilizing the Buy Board Purchasing Cooperative for purchasing benches for Gage Park Playland. The attached proposal of $114,573 will be funded from the Gage Park sales tax funds.
Tim Laurent, Director, Parks and Recreation. So these are, as the clerk stated, these are benches and picnic tables for the playland area that we're currently renovating. What you're looking at there is an ADA accessible picnic table. We are buying 6 picnic tables, 2 of which are ADA. And let's see, there's the other style. There's one of, that's obviously not Gage Park, but there's an example of some of the benches that we're putting in. So all told, there are 20 benches. They come all together, they'll come in 30 different sections. Some of them are curved in a few spots in Playland. So this has been part of the overall project, and we, honestly, we've measured and remeasured several times to make sure that these are fit in those areas. These are custom. It's a little bit more than we normally spend on a park bench. However, the warranty is significantly longer. Most of them, it's a year. These are 5 years. I brought, obviously you can't see these, but they're high-density recycled plastic is the surface, which is ideal for this. Can it be vandalized? Absolutely. But this surface does make that easier to repair. You don't necessarily have to replace it. Sometimes you can get that out. So very rigid, very strong, great warranty. We think it'll be a great addition to the park. And we are using the Buy Board Cooperative, and Gage Park Improvement Funds will pay for this. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Sure, Don, yes. Tim, I just want to make sure that, again, context of how much things cost. Because I know that that's sometimes what we as commissioners get shocked by, is what things cost. The picture you showed of the handicap accessible, that's $4,385 a picnic table.
Oops. Yeah, well, yes, picnic tables
Okay.
and benches in general are relatively expensive.
And so I think that when the general public looks at a picnic table, they don't think of it being, $4,385. They think of it being about maybe $500.
Yeah,
Because that's what if you're walking through Walmart or Sam's Club, maybe that's what you saw, or, even a Menards, maybe that's what you saw for a picnic bench.
I think the difference between what they're seeing when they're at their local store, big box store, are things that are designed to be used by residential customers. The things that we're purchasing are designed to be used in a park setting where, quite frankly, they will be used and abused. If you've been fortunate enough to drive by Playland here recently and see the developments that are happening there, there are going to be thousands of people using these benches and picnic tables weekly. And so we have to get something that we think is going to hold up, and we are going to pay more for that than we would if we went to Home Depot. But it's not that much more than what we're paying for any other bench that we use in any other park.
The full bench, not handicap accessible, was $4,585 a picnic. And then that open seated area, it looked like it was about $3,140 a section. And again, I bring this out as context of what do things actually cost? When you're designing something for the public that's going to last for a long period of time, as opposed to what you might put in your backyard.
Correct?
Tim, what about installation? Is this done by our staff or we?
Yes, we will do the installation. All of these and I don't have a good photo
And they
of
will
it.
be bolted down.
They're bolted down, they're surface mounted, and a lot of, what we've done in a lot of areas is, as we finish out this playland renovation, there is a lot of curbing that goes around the safety surfacing. And a lot of these will be, and that curbing is about a foot wide in most cases, and these will be bolted onto those curbs in that area. So there are some that are also, we have some walls that are, some low walls that, where those benches will be mounted on the side of those walls. So these are different applications than what we normally do in the rest of our parks.
So, statement of time.
Yeah.
Angela's reminded Rich, who reminded me.
I was already standing, does that mean I have to sit?
You get to sit down. All right. If there's no other questions, I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, who wants to sit down. Seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those
Actually,
opposed?
second by Commissioner Mays.
Second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. All right, next item.
3, consider approval of contract C 2026-144A1, a guaranteed maximum price amendments to contract C 2026021 with KBS Constructors for the site package portion of the Gage Park Carousel renovation project, which includes demolition, utilities, railroad track work, earthwork, drainage, and site preparation.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Director of Parks and Recreation Department. So as the clerk stated, this is the early package for the site improvements to the carousel project. It's, I don't want to just reiterate what she said, but it is essentially all of everything we need to do to get ready to start building and renovating that carousel site. What this is not, this does not approve the full carousel project. This doesn't lock you into any future phases of the carousel project. This is just the first step to get this project moving forward. As you know, we're on a fairly tight timeline. We want to have this completed and be in this facility by June 1st of next year, 2027. And this will be the first step that will get us actually working. This does then allow us to have more conversations about the rest of the project and what it'll ultimately be and look like and cost. With that, I do have representatives from KBS and also HTK here. If you have questions that I can't answer, I'm sure they can, and we would be happy to do that.
I do have a question. Tim, during the site preparation, we're tearing down the old carousel building. Where's the carousel? I mean, are we maintaining the carousel in its exact spot? Are we moving the carousel somewhere else?
That's a great question. The carousel is going to remain right where it is through the entire process. So that is not part of what we're approving today, but we will go in there and essentially build a shell around that carousel to protect it. That frame and that structure that is around it will remain. And so that's one of the big emphasis is that we don't want to disturb the carousel and damage it in any way.
I mean, the preliminary plans that, you and I have reviewed talk about a construction of a whole new, and I think we've talked about, a whole new facility with additional amenities around the carousel. Should we move the carousel out so that you can just wipe the slate clean and build it?
I don't think so. I think we've had extensive conversations about that, and we think this is the best way to do it and probably the most cost-effective. That carousel is old. It is in some ways fragile. Part of this process, as we move forward, we'll be doing a little bit of rehab on the carousel itself, just to make sure. I think once we're done, I anticipate that carousel getting a lot more use than it's getting now. And so we want to make sure that it continues to run for as long as we can keep it going.
This new shelter addition,
Yeah.
that will be replacing big gauge shelter as far as our use is concerned? Park and Rec?
Correct, correct.
And so the old gauge, big gauge shelter will become part of the zoo then at that point?
Right, the zoo will start programming that and doing things as just part of their daily operations after June 1st of 2027.
And then our Back to Nature Camp, which always was usually based out of big gauge shelter,
Yeah.
would then move
Right.
over to this facility?
Absolutely, yeah. It's our most popular camp by far. It's not even close. And so this will allow us to just continue, hopefully without missing a beat, offering that program. It would just be based out of this new space off the Carousel building.
Yeah.
Commissioners, the only thing I'll add is that we got big gauge shelter. When I say got, I'm not using the legal term here, but we have control of it through the merger. So in order for us to turn it over to the zoo, who's not a party to that contract, there is going to have to be additional paperwork. We'll have to have something that will be voted on by this commission to enable that.
Okay.
And then would it have to be approved by the city of Topeka as well?
We're looking into that, yeah. It might very well have to be a tripartite agreement.
Okay.
We haven't started on that yet because we're years away still, but.
Yeah. It might be good to remove the horses off the carousel. I don't know.
I think as part of this process, I shouldn't say I think. As part of this process, we are going to remove them in some fashion because we're going to paint them and rehab several of them, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is kind of a balancing act there. You have to balance
Right.
out the weight. Some horses are bigger than others. So-
Right, and that kind of goes to what I said earlier, and the fact that we're working with HTK right now. They're actually reaching out to companies all over the country that work on carousels and rehab carousels to try to make sure that we're doing everything we can to improve some of that. We're also talking about, we're exploring ways to make the carousel more ADA friendly. They make ramps that would allow people to transfer on. So we're looking at all those things.
Whatever you do, don't use car body finish on the horses.
Yeah, we
I'm
don't.
serious. That's something, yeah, it'll last for a long time, but you ruin the antiquity.
You're right, and there are folks around that do this
Okay,
and understand.
all right. Any other questions?
No.
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 5, public comment.
I do have one person signed up, Irma Forbes.
I would like to thank the body for having me this morning. My name is Irma Forbes. I'm the founder and president of the Gil Carter Initiative. It was brought to my attention that the Gil Carter Initiative is lacking in tax payment and would be sold this coming sale period. I was given the property in 2018. The sale tax was paid up till that point. I signed off the latter part of the year, so the first part of the taxes was paid. I did not know that we were owing second part because I was never notified. I was never sent a bill until 2025. So during that time, when they found out that we owed the taxes, they compiled the taxes for both the first part of the year, which it was paid, the first part was paid. So they add the $2,936 for the first part of the year to the same amount to the second part of the year, plus $1,900 penalty for the first part of the year, $1,900 for the second part of the year, with a total of almost $10,000. And then they sent me a bill for that at $2,025. I think I went down to the appraiser's office and we had a conversation. I said I think it's only fair that since the taxes for the second part of the year was still owed, I should pay that. But I don't think it's fair that without any notification until that time, that and all the compiled taxes and fees added to it and have me responsible for it. The person who donated the property to us, we were a nonprofit. The person who donated the property to us had paid the first part of the year that I signed for it. That was 2018. So I was responsible. So I assume getting notices from the appraisal office saying this is not a tax bill, it's information, and with no invoices, I had no way of knowing that I had taxes to be paid. I think it's my responsibility to pay the taxes, but I think the appraiser's office is their responsibility to notify me. And if they didn't notify me, I don't think I should have all these fees and added to the current taxes to pay. So when I went down to the office, I said I'm willing to make the payment for what was owed at that period of the time, but I think all the other things should be dropped. So the person to whom I spoke was going to look into it and get back to me, and I made calls, and it's been looked after, and now, lo and behold, my property worth over $900,000 would be sold for $10,000 at the next period. And I don't think that is fair. I think I'm asking the body to put a stay on the sale of my property until this thing could be sorted out. And like I said, I'm willing to pay what I think is fair and just.
Mr. Mays, or Commissioner Cook.
I might, Ms. Forbes, you might speak with our county counselor. He handles the tax foreclosure sales, and so after the meeting, if the two of you can speak and see what resolution or what things there may be. Sometimes the county is handicapped in what the law allows us to do. There may be restrictions by law on what we can or cannot do about past taxes and fees and such that. I do see that all the taxes are paid except for that one part of 2018.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And so I would just encourage you to speak with Mr. Eckert as soon as the meeting ends to see what we might be able to do.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
The good news is there's plenty of time. We have two tax sales going. I'm guessing because one of them is a Lawrence Bay tax sale. The paperwork on yours is in the other tax sale, which won't go off until September. So there's not a time urgency, so we have time to work through this.
Okay, I thank you.
Okay.
Am I still seeing you after?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else wishing to speak? This is your time. All right. Seeing none. What's next?
Next on the agenda is item 6, administrative communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis, Director of Administrative Services. April 15th, mobile mammography will be on site in partnership with the City of Topeka. They'll be parked right across the street. If you have county insurance, 1 mammogram per year is free, and it's one of the most important exams a woman can get each year, and we hope everyone participates. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Susan Duffy, Shawnee County Treasurer.
last Friday, we did our mailing out for the second half of property taxes. We noticed an uptick on phone calls on Monday morning. They are due May 11th. And as of yesterday, we have about $128 million still owing. And last year at this same time, on April 8th, it was $126 million. May 20th last year, after the deadline, which was May 10th, I believe, last year, we still had $14 million owing in property tax. And by November 6th, the amount was down to $7 million. So quite a bit of work to go between here and there. A lot of folks are walking in with checkbooks. We take checks, we take cash, we take cashier's check, we take Google Wallet, we take Apple, or folks can go online and make a payment through ICANN. There is a 2.5% fee whenever anybody uses a card, whether in person or through the mail. But we've been busy, we've been thanking people when they come in, making that second payment. We know it's quite a lug, and we appreciate folks coming in and doing that. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Morning, Commissioners. Ashley Gilfillan with Parks and Recreation. I wanted to let you know that with spring now, we are officially starting tulip time. It will run from April 10th through the 26th. Our tulips are in full bloom at Lake Shawnee at Ted Inslee Gardens, Gage Park, Store and Rock Garden, and Old Prairie Town at Ward Mead. Tulips at Twilight will kick off this weekend. It will run Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Saturdays, and Sundays, and they will go from 7 to 10 p.m., and that is a lit experience for everybody to have, and it is with our friends of Ward Mead, and we're really looking forward to it this year. You guys have any questions?
No?
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Great events.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Commissioner Mays?
Well, I thought Amanda might want to talk about the bingo night that we had, but well, I'll talk about it. We had a bingo night last night for county employees as a fundraiser for Helping Hands Humane Society. Had a great turnout. I know a lot of people in the room right now were there, so really great to see our employees stepping up to help a local charity. So a pretty cool deal, and thank you for all the work that you guys put into it.
Commissioner Mays, who do you think was the best bingo caller?
Susan Duffy.
Susan Duffy, probably. Actually,
Most enthusiastic bingo caller.
I think Joni had a special guest. It was, the cutest. Yeah, the cutest. We had a cute bingo caller as well. Yeah.
Most enthusiastic bingo caller, Susan Duffy. Did not know.
Commissioner Cook?
We do have hockey this weekend. This is, the Scarecrows have made the playoffs, and so this is your last opportunity to see them before they make the playoffs next week. And we've had great attendance at Landon Arena and hope to see everybody out.
Very good. I just wanted to mention next Monday, we are having a public hearing on solar energy, so we'll have that on Monday at 9 o'clock.
I would just say one thing, Commissioner. I really like the moment where we stand up after 1 hour until Councilman Banks stood up, and I reminded myself that I'm 5'10" with my shoes on.
All right. All right, what's next?
Next item is item 7, executive sessions.
We do have a need to go into executive session, so I move that we recess into executive session for a period not to exceed, what do we have, 3 hour and a half then, for personnel matters of non-elected personnel for the purpose of department head evaluations for a period not to exceed an hour and a half. So,
At what time?
Like right away.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Let's start at 10:30.
minutes.
You want 5?
I
All
don't think we
right,
need that.
I don't time real fast. Okay, at 20:25, we'll go into executive session,
10:25.
or 10:25.
We are back in session, no action taken at this time, so we're adjourned.